my whiskey. I'm trying to get drunk.
We don't care what R. Kelly did.
Did I say anything racist this time?
You better get out of here, honky.
And now for something completely different.
Well, two honks and Kim just messing around. You'll never know what they talk about on two honks. Two honks and Kevin. You might hear something about the NBA. Maybe they'll just make your day on two honks. Two honks and Kevin. It's sports and life and family too. Let's all listen to two honks and a Kevin. Yeah! Just crap my pants.
All right,
Whoa.
time to celebrate.
What are we celebrating?
Celebrating a birthday today.
Was that you?
No. We are celebrating the third birthday of the podcast.
What?
Oh, whoa.
I was like, my birthday was last week.
It was. Yes.
You know what? You know what's so funny is as I was taking my usual pee right before the podcast, my actual thought was, I wonder how long we've been doing this podcast. So
Yeah.
that's funny that today is the third birthday.
Today's
Have a
the
good
third
birthday.
birthday. So,
Man.
yes, April 13th, 2022. We're it's a couple days from now. Like, I think it's the
Yeah.
14th or 15th. But,
Okay, so it
yeah,
was this week.
episode 158.
Nice.
Happy anniversary.
Yep. So,
It's pretty good. We at least have stuck with it. You know what I'm saying?
almost every Wednesday.
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
yeah. And
All-
I
We
think
still suck at it, but we stuck with it.
all 10 of you.
is that what it's down to now?
Now we've got a stable core listening group.
Yeah. Hey, listen, I hear it. I hear it from my some of our listeners when we don't record. So there's some people out there. There's some people still out there relying on us for some entertainment.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you guys know there's other podcasts out there?
So yeah, happy birthday every Wednesday night for the past 3 years, give or take the occasional vacation and the occasional attempt at a different show or whatever. We're
Yeah.
158 episodes in.
Nice.
So yeah, man.
It's been fun. It'd be interesting to know, like, I mean, it'd be nice to be able to go through each one and just kind of like figure out what was the main topic we talked about. Of course, COVID took up 2 years, but
Yeah.
like, it'd just be interesting to see where our conversations have started and where they've
Yeah.
gone to or whatever.
Yeah, you can go to the feed and see kind of what the topics were there
Yeah.
too. Podbean to show you also. I know a part of me was like, I should go through some of the old audio stuff, and I was like, ain't nobody got time for that.
Yeah,
Right.
I know.
I've looked at some of the old YouTube stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how do shows do that? So
They have
like
a
for
producer.
example, well, okay, and I get that, but does that producer just literally like, because I think about it like, not to always bring up Rogan, but let's say Rogan's podcast where he is spoken for hours upon hours upon hours, like for someone to find a clip and be
Mhm.
like, oh yeah, I remember he had some guest on and they were talking about this,
Mhm.
like just a topic, but you can't remember the guest. You can't, like, I don't know how people find that stuff, or if they, or does Joe and them have their own system
isn't it-
to where
There,
what?
there are systems out there where you can click and then put like a timestamp, and then it'll feed into another system, and then you can basically click on it, and then you can go from topic to topic using the timestamps. There are
Oh, wow.
systems out there that do that.
Don't
That's
some
gonna
of
take
Richard
forever.
do like transcripts, like word for word, like captions and stuff that they can go back to.
Yeah, you can do stuff like that too. Yeah, I think some of
I
that.
would think that's the easy way. Like when he got in trouble, like somebody probably went back through that, right?
Yeah, that's my point. Like, how did someone that made the N-word compilation,
Yeah.
go through But
You can
I
probably
guess
run
that's
it
been out for
through- You
years.
can probably run it through a program and it'll spit it out, and then you can do a find.
Right. And they did it through YouTube too, so it's probably easier than YouTube, right?
For sure. Yeah, you can
Yeah.
just download the YouTube file if you want to.
Really? So
Mhm.
and there's just different programs out there to make it easier for people to, I guess, to get
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Now, how about like for them themselves? I mean, do they just make like keynotes on
Mhm.
each episode
Mhm.
for top? Like, do you think that's what Jamie, his producer, does? Just
Somebody does it.
each-
If it's not Jamie, yeah, it's like you said. There's an app like as you're recording, you can
Yeah.
timestamp the conversation and say this
I
is,
think
and
that's
then
what it
as
is.
he's recording, he's doing this because he's not Jamie's not talking, or they may have a third
Right.
person in there. That's
I
doing
think it's
So-
according to Joe, it's just them two, and then
Yeah.
Jamie will look up stuff, whenever they need something, and then
Mm.
so yeah. So I always found like even like I mean I guess it's probably easy to do, but like even like when someone passes away,
Mhm.
and they all of a sudden have like all these great sound bites from them, video, and it's just like, man, are y'all just sitting on that? Like, like is
Yeah,
there
they
already
got a
one?
A
Yeah,
compilation.
yeah.
ready
It's
for
like,
next
like
Gilbert
is
Gottfried coming out.
yeah. I heard about that today. That stinks. Another comedian. I feel like there's been a few comedians pass away this year. Um,
Yeah, is
am I wrong? Well, not Norm Macdonald.
Bob Saget?
Bob Saget, and then what was this guy's name?
Gilbert Godfrey.
Gilbert Gottfried. That's right. I've heard him on Rogan. He kind of has that kind of annoying voice.
Yeah.
That's what I was, yeah. It's like high pitched or something. I don't know. It's
Yeah.
weird.
Uh,
What?
he has a well-known voice.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he had some like bone disease.
Some sort of muscular dystrophy. I
Some-
think it was like a
yeah.
type 2 one. That's pretty rare.
Mm.
Yeah.
He was only 67.
Yeah, I read that today too. Hey, did you guys see the I guess it's a shooting that happened on the subway?
Mm-hmm.
Did you see that? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if you guys have heard much about it.
Apparently, the guy was mad about the mayor taking out the homeless camps. Is basically what I've read so far. So
Wow,
yeah.
that's interesting.
So what did he do to the homeless camps? I didn't read too much of the story.
Yeah.
All I did
Well, they're
was-
just tearing them down. They're just getting rid of them.
but- so
Yeah.
where are the homeless people going to go?
I don't know, and that's always been the problem, right? Is nobody
Right,
wants
yeah.
them, nobody wants to take care of them. Like everybody's, hand wringing. But then when you hear about a possible homeless shelter popping up in the neighborhood, then everybody's up in arms about
Freaks
it.
out.
So it's
Yeah.
like, what would you like to have happen?
Yeah. Do you want him to live in a building or do you want him to live in a tent?
You're right.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
mean,
tough.
It's
ahead.
bad everywhere, right? It seems like it's more of the bigger cities like Vegas and then California, like they're having these issues, and it's like you're gonna ransack where they are in these little like tent villages they have, but where they're gonna go? I mean, I've even seen it on the like in downtown, like
Yeah.
Yeah. You see it. You see little camps pop up, especially when stores and stuff started closing down, like a year or two ago.
Yeah.
They would like tarp off like the back end of like the parking lot and camp up there. You would see 'em.
Really?
Yeah. There's
Yeah,
a few
it's
places on the east side.
I mean, it's obviously a bad situation. I mean, I don't know what the answer is. Like I've kind of heard Rogan have some people on, and there's always some ideas out there to try to help. But in the end, I mean, you're enabling a lot of them, and well, a lot of the reasons why they're homeless is probably because they have mental health issues. So I think that's one of the first things to do is try to find a program to help. But that's out there. I mean, I say this, but there's programs out there, I'm sure,
Yeah,
to help
majority
you
of it
get
though
off the street.
got ransacked by I think Reagan. That's why you no longer see like the hospitals that take care of mentally ill people. Like
Oh,
they're
really?
not really around anymore unless they're privatized.
I
Yeah,
wonder
I mean,
why. I
It's,
wonder why did mental health not become a big issue, 30
Mhm.
years ago? You know, like why is that just now a thing?
I don't know. Like it's, they would, the doctor, like you go to the doctor now and the doctor's like all up in your business now. Like, have you ever thought about killing yourself? Do you
Really?
have sad thoughts? Do you like, they'll ask you those questions, as well as your physical health.
Right.
So,
Yeah. See, I mean, that is an interesting question because it's like
James.
just by you asking the question makes me have to think about it. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, I'm
You-
usually like, I'm like, is there an abnormal amount that you don't think about that, or you do think like,
yeah.
what's
Yeah. How many?
like,
Yeah.
is it okay for me to be like once a week? Be like, I could,
Yeah.
Right,
exactly. What's the limit of amount of times that I mean, I've never thought about it like I'm going to go grab a gun or whatever,
Right.
but it's
I've never
like
planned it. Yeah.
I think this is what I think about. Like I'm a naturally happy person. Uh-oh. You still there, Richard? Oh no,
think,
you're not.
There we go.
You there?
Yeah,
That was
I think Kevin's messing
that
everybody
was
up.
so weird. Yeah, that was weird. It said that my phone was too hot.
Oh,
Your phone was
Yeah.
too hot?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Like,
Dang, bro.
yeah, it's like
Yeah. Yeah, so can you hear me, Richard?
Mhm.
Okay, cool. I just want to make sure we were back to normal. Yeah, we were just we were talking about, Kevin, I don't know if you heard us, but we were talking about how mental health is, a much bigger thing now. And when you go to the doctor, they'll even ask you, have you thought about, suicide or anything like that? So Richard and I were talking about like, what's the amount of times are you allowed to think about suicide in a year, which really isn't funny. I don't know why we're giggling about it,
I
but
don't know. This is like, I don't know. I have that question. I'm just like, I don't know. It's like there are times you're just like, man, I'm good now. Like,
no, I can't. Like because I mean, well, first of all, we had that happen in our family, somebody in our family, and a little bit more of an understanding situation, just simply because his health was extremely bad and he was definitely on his last lap, so to speak, so but still I actually was just talking about this situation to Greg at work the other day, because we were just talking about suicide and how difficult it would be, and but the reason we started talking about it is because we have a gentleman at my work, one of our drivers. I think he's 60 something, but his health is just real bad. He keeps falling at home, and this is twice now he's had to take time off. So, and I've been trying to talk to him and encourage him and just kind of, be uplifting to him. But like, he just lost his well, not really his wife, but his longtime girlfriend. She just passed away not too long ago, and you can just hear the defeat in his voice, and his health is going down, and he's, and that's what we were talking about. Like, I can see why a man at the end of his life, when he's no longer a man and he has no more pride, he has no more strength, he has no more health, he can't go to the bathroom without somebody helping him, like that has to be the saddest time. I would think, right? Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
no.
like just yeah. So, anyways, it just kind of got me really feeling for that guy. And, once again, it's a whole cliche thing where you just say you got to enjoy every day you have and, enjoy it while you're young or whatever. But dude, I think about that a lot. Like, enjoy playing the sports now because it'll be long gone,
Before you know it, you'll be shuffled
Yeah.
off somewhere.
Yeah. Yep. It's tough, but
they'll be putting you in the corner.
Yeah, put in the corner.
Hey, just
I know.
It's just grandpa.
Yeah, just grandpa watching fights again and Rogan.
Wear your mask, grandpa.
Yeah, exactly. Do I got to take you to the bathroom again? So
yeah, I think kind of speaking on that a little bit. Yeah, I think a lot's to be said in terms of the allowing of assisted suicide for things like that. Where it's like your value of your value of what you have left isn't what you
it's
want.
almost a hindrance.
Yeah. So it's it's just, I don't know, whatever you believe, I think if you kind of think it should be your choice. If you're ready to go,
Yeah.
you're ready to go. I mean, there are certain things you should have in order. Like you shouldn't just be able to show up at a doctor and you have 4 kids and be like, well, end it now. I'm done with these kids.
Yeah.
But I
Could
think
you imagine that?
if
Could you imagine if like suicide was legal? Hey, this is everyone's choice. This
yeah.
is everyone's choice. How dare you tell me not to take my life? You know?
Oh,
Good
no,
Lord,
don't do
man.
that, Blake.
I
Don't go
know.
down that path.
I know. I'm just saying, like I could see somebody justifying it. You know what I'm saying?
Tell me what to do with my life.
My body.
Yeah. 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 This is my body. Yeah. Yeah. I wasn't asked to be brought in this world. It's so sad. But I was before we got cut off earlier, I was going to say that like I'm a naturally, pretty happy person, but we all kind of have our days.
Mhm.
And then I think about the people that do legitimately struggle with depression,
Mhm.
and honestly, I sympathize with them because like it's so weird because like there's day I don't know if you guys have this, but there's days where it's just like you're just grumpy, you're in a bad mood, and you're pissed off, and you literally can't say one reason why.
Mhm.
Like you just are.
Mhm.
So whenever I am in that mood, I always think, is this what it is like to be depressed? Like to wake up every day and you're just mad, you're just angry, whether it be life situations or just mental health issues, whatever it is, So yeah, so that's why so to get back to that, when you ask that question, how many times do you think about suicide? It's like I've never thought about putting a gun to my head or anything crazy like that. One thing I do remember always hearing my dad tell me, and it was engraved in me, dude, like no matter what, no matter how hard your life gets, never ever take your life. I can't receive that phone call. I
Mhm.
cannot receive that, and
Mhm.
that always stuck with me. So it's, it doesn't even enter my brain. But back to what I was saying, I get it, man. Depression that's a bad thing.
Blake, as you're talking about it, do you think it's a processing thing? Do you think this is what I feel like? I feel like some people can't process it. Like I have those days and I'm stuck in a rut, but every day is a new day for me. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, it might suck a little bit, but it doesn't suck as bad. Like, and I feel like
Yeah.
other people can't get out of that rut, and it just keeps domino. They never look at the positive. So that's what I think depression is for me, if I'm looking at it. And so,
Yeah.
I feel like certain people can process it, certain people cannot process it, and I think those certain people are the ones that get depressed, and they are on that side of the suicide thing, because they need to. It's almost like they need to think positive and have something to live for, right? Everybody has something to live for, but you have to know those things that you have to live for. You get what I'm saying?
But I think the issue is to those that feel like they have nothing to live for.
Mhm.
Where when they wake up, they're not rolling over next to somebody. Maybe they don't have a family. They don't have best friends. They don't have siblings. They're going to work. They're in their cubicle. They go home. They do whatever they do. They have a bad relationship with their family. Like, I think a lot of that, Richard, I don't know if you struggle with depression or whatever, but like you've shared some stuff that's happened to you in your life that causes depression, so it's like, it wouldn't be shocked for me to hear something like life situations happening to somebody and then in a later age still, affect them. I think that's with everything though,
Yeah, I mean, it's not as simple as picking up a self-help book. You know what I mean? Like
that's my point.
It
Yeah.
really is like it's hard to say. It's like it's not even really a state of mind, right? Like who in their mind would want to be depressed?
Right.
Like nobody
Right,
would.
yeah.
And there is
Yeah.
no book, there is no, and I mean, yeah, you can try to go the way of positive thinking and you try that, and then it's just there are literally like demons in your head, right? That's literally what
Exactly.
it is. And they won't shut up, and you just want them
Yep.
to shut up. And and even if you have kids, right? The thought of a depressed person isn't that I'm leaving kids, it's that somebody better will come along and take care of my kids.
Yeah.
So they'll
Wow.
be fine. Like it's not even, that's why when people say, how can you leave your kids behind? And it's like, well, it's the thought process isn't that I'm wonderful to my kids, it's that there's somebody else out there better for them. So it's just better for
that their life would be better off without me in it is
Yeah.
probably their thought. Yeah.
right.
Because we had a gentleman at work that kind of opened up to us about trying to take his life, I guess, a couple times. So, you know, I'm never shy to ask questions. You know, I try to dive in deep because it's like, dude, I want to know what's inside your head to make you even want to do that, you know? So, you know, I pry a little bit and he's willing to open up. So, you know, I'm not going to share too much of it, obviously, for, you know, obvious reasons. But, you know, that is the thought. Like you just said, it's not like I can call a buddy and get cheered up and I'm good. It's those demons. It's you're not good enough.
Mhm.
You're worthless. You don't belong here. Your wife is better without you. Your friends won't even care if you're dead. You know, and in this just and maybe that's the question. Where does that come from? Like, what is that? Childhood? Is it mental health? Is it, you
I
know,
think it's a
something
mixture of things, right? It's just part of it can be childhood, I suppose, but some of it I think is just predisposition. Like, you know, it could be as simple as genetics. Like, you know, I know people that have great lives and
Yeah.
but they just get into these funks. Like me, like I'm pretty happy. I have, you know, a great job, kids, a wife, you know, that loves me and all that. And it's just like some days I wake up and I'm like, I don't think I want to be here today.
Really.
And
So
that's it.
on those days, is it I mean, is it one of those things where your wife knows? Like, leave
Sometimes,
Richard alone?
yeah, sometimes
Yeah.
I can fake it pretty well. Usually I can fake it pretty well.
Yeah, I think
yeah.
most people do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is, you know, it's unfortunate. And I just, you know, and it's one of the things too, like it's not like a physical disease where you can tell what's wrong with the person, right? And you can't even rationally explain what's wrong with you, right? Because it's like
Right.
you just can't. It's something in your head.
Just mad.
There's a
Yeah,
there's a
I'm just
demon in your head and you can't get it out and it won't shut up.
man, that's I mean, it's so frustrating because it's like, what do you do? You know, like for people like that, you know, and you know, and unfortunately, a lot of those people will turn to drugs or alcohol,
Mhm.
you know, to cope, and then that ends you up to the beginning of this conversation being homeless potentially.
Mhm.
You know, if you end up abusing it. So,
Yeah, for
um,
sure.
yeah, it would just be interesting to know, like, you know, back to the homeless thing, just like how many talented people are on those streets?
Mhm.
How many smart, intelligent people are on those streets? And if we can just help them, but once again, we all know there's places out there for them to get help. You know, they got to help themselves. They got to get clean. They got to have a better, you
Mhm.
know, I mean, with nobody wanting to work right now, hey, sign a few of them up, get them clean,
Right.
let them fix some
But
of our trailers while we, you know, get them back on their feet. I don't know.
right. But I mean that's the employee market, and with everything, all the prices influxing right now, it's like we also don't know where they're at on that. People are living out of vans, people are homeless and have a job right now. You
Yeah,
know,
that's
so
true.
people got to
That's
also
true.
afford to live. So like the housing market, the rent, being able to rent something, that's causing people to stress right now. We have a
Mhm.
Oh
meeting
yeah.
about that right now. Like, hey,
Yeah.
what your employees are most worried about right now. We have to keep up.
It Man, it's so true, dude. Like, to think about what we've just gone through as far as the pandemic, people losing jobs, people losing money, people losing careers, people losing businesses, yada yada. And then you go right into, oh, now we're going to raise the prices of everything.
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 Every single thing.
And good luck. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just and no wonder people are depressed. No wonder people are, you know, like I think a lot of the depression too is coming from people. Like, I see people around me, you know, at work that make a whole lot more money than me that are so stressed. And I think some of that stress is that I think you think once you get to a specific age, a specific tier, a specific position, you're
Mhm.
going to have money and things are going to be easier and it's going to and like I hear the quote unquote personal conversations sometimes that go on, and I know some of the struggles that people are going through. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like it's just this like helplessness feeling of like, why can't I still not have enough money? Have enough money? Why can't I? You know what I'm saying? It's just I don't know. I just see it in all groups, I guess, where everybody's just feeling the stress of it.
Yeah. Also, people getting stressed about keeping their jobs, though, right? Like, I'm at a position to where I'm comfortable enough to where I don't have to worry about money. I want to stay in that position, provide for my family, because everything's on a timeline for me, right? Like, things get easier after a while, but I want to be comfortable for a while too, So everyone's stressed about that. Like, I got to do a good job. I got to get stuff done. I have to prioritize my job, even if it's minusing some stuff with family, just because I want to keep this job because my life is comfortable right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. What up, Jared?
What's up, boys?
Whoa. Nice glasses.
Okay. Nice glasses.
Oh, yeah.
Hey,
sorry. You don't see me in my glasses very often, do you?
Ah.
All right.
So in a roundabout way, all of us hung out Saturday night.
Yeah.
Richard and Jared went to go see Mark Norman.
That's right. We went on a date. He's very nice. He's very
gentle. So let's yes. What'd you say, Kevin?
What base did you?
How's the punch card?
It's good.
It's good. So okay, so just to let everybody know, I guess Kevin and Jared ended up coming over Saturday night to watch fights, and before that Jared and Richard went out on a date. Now this is it. So now when what'd you say, Kevin?
Like burned ribs.
Oh, dude.
Oh,
dude, I was so mad.
Rich didn't even hear about this.
I had all the pressure on my one black friend coming over, and I screwed up the barbecue. I was trying to make him so proud. Yeah, I kind of got I don't know what happened, to be honest with you, on my ribs. I was following a 3-2-1 process where you smoke them for 3 hours, you wrap them for 2 hours, and then you let them sit for an hour, barbecued, put some sauce on them. And I basically did that, and they looked great after the wrapping process. I was like, man, these, and I almost pulled them off right then. And I was like, no, I'm just going to kind of let them sit on here and, follow the recipe, follow the expert. And I went to grab them, and I was like, oh no. And it was just almost like a beef jerky taste. The taste was actually good. It was just
it was good.
Yeah.
On the top, it was good, but on the bottom, it was like
there was no meat there.
Yeah, there was no meat, and it was super tough.
So one thing that I did is when I got the ribs, I took the membrane off the back, and then I cut a lot of the fat off of it because that's what everybody's. I always watch. Yeah. So during the smoking process, I noticed my bottom part was already like darn near burnt. And I was just like, dude, like, no way it's already burnt, So I started getting paranoid then that they weren't going to turn out good. So I don't know if it's because I cut the fat off that it was like that or not. But anyways,
I never cut the fat. I only cut the membrane.
Yeah, there you go.
And I was looking forward to it because I had watched your story leading
know,
up to it when you put it on at like noon. I was like, oh yeah, I forgot. Blake said he's got ribs. He's got Traeger. Let's go.
Yeah, I didn't do a follow up on that story to tell the truth.
Wow.
You just went straight into the fights.
Yes, exactly. Yep. Everyone. Well, hey, I mean, the ribs got smashed. Let's be honest. We all hate them. Yeah. But I'll definitely have to redeem myself. So besides that, so Richard and Jared went to go see Mark Norman. He's a comedian. So I was kind of joking with Jared because you guys have really never hung out, right?
Outside of your UFC thing, no, not like.
Oh yeah, the birthday party.
Yeah, we hung out a bit there.
Okay,
and I mean, we went to lunch that one time back during COVID.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, I was just So anyway, so how was the show?
It was funny. It was good. It was a packed house, dude. Like it was sold out. It was that I think I read online that and the 10:30 were both sold out. I'm pretty sure next night was sold out too. But
I believe it.
there was not an empty seat in the house.
No.
All three comedians, the opener, the host, and Mark were all, I thought were really funny.
Yeah.
Even when they bombed, it was funny.
Yeah.
The one
Sometimes
guy
that's
told
the funny part.
the host told just like the worst joke. Like Jared and I looked at each other and were like, I don't even know if that was a joke. Like that just sounded racist. Like I don't know.
Oh wow.
It was bad.
It was like just mean.
Pushing the limits.
It wasn't
But
even
then
funny.
then he goes, Mark told me to do that joke, which kind of like redeemed it all.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
was like, because like I mean, I don't know about you, Richard. I don't know if we talked about this, after the fact, but like I felt like they were trying to be very like on the edge. Like
Yep.
I
They
mean,
knew where
like,
they were.
all their jokes were like 9/11,
Yep.
homophobic, Jewish, gay.
Yeah.
Like I mean, like they were
pushing the
very
envelope.
edgy
They hit
jokes.
every single one. Like Mark at one point in time was like, all right, so I've told this. Like they rattled off like 10 offensive things. It was like, we ran the gambit.
Yeah.
Like to the point it became a Q&A. Like he was like, I'm done now. You got any questions for me?
Yeah, he was like, you got any questions? And people were just literally spitfiring him questions like, what do you think about Joe Rogan?
Yeah.
And literally he was just like, dude, Joe Rogan's a good dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like he went off about that guy. They asked him questions about other comedians and the worst joke he's ever told, the funniest joke he's ever told.
Yeah.
Heard. Like it was cool.
I kind of like that. Just the more of the. I think that's why I'm so attracted to their podcast because I kind of like hearing them talk and then I like hearing them be funny just in normal conversation. Sometimes a stand-up gig, I'm just like, I'm not really into their stand-up, but I like, I just like him as a person or whatever. But yeah, he's been doing a monthly podcast with him, Ari Shaffir, and Shane Gillis. So I assumed that his shows would have been sold out just from, just getting the publicity from that show.
Yeah, he used to open for Amy Schumer too. Like he's been around.
Yeah.
He's been, he's done shows in Madison Square Garden. Like he's
a big name. Yeah, he's been around.
But yeah, it was a good show. It was a good. I mean, I really like Helium. It's a really good spot for comedy. It's at a great place from parking. There's food all around.
Really?
If you want to grab food,
that's good.
Their food's not half bad.
And we got set like we got set dead middle, but like in the second section. So we weren't in that front section where we would, kind of get possibly picked on by the comedians. But we were dead center. So it was, it was perfect.
That's good, man. Yeah, I want to go to a show. I can't tell you the last time
I love live comedy. I mean, I remember going to Crackers when it was up there with Taps and Dolls back in the day. I went to Crackers in Broad Ripple. Like I've gone to open mic nights. A buddy of mine got into stand up down in Southern Indiana, and he started doing open mic nights. And I've gone to various different. I love live comedy. I just it's good.
That'd be a fun thing to do. It's just something I don't ever think about doing.
Hard.
Like just like even if it's just random people.
It would be hard.
Yeah. Yeah, we got a guy at work that we've talked to that we think could possibly do it just because he is like he's just full of energy and he's all over the place. But no, not Greg. Definitely not. Definitely not Greg.
Unless you want to get canceled.
Yeah, for reals. He's just a big dumb animal, man.
What was one thing he asked? He asked if anybody here was gay.
Yeah.
And nobody raised their hands. And he was like, that's statistically impossible. Ladies, one of your men's gay.
Yeah.
I almost raised my hand. I was like, well, I'm on a date with another man. So
yeah.
Is that make me gay even though I've been married for 16 years?
Yeah.
And
I didn't want to go down that rabbit hole.
He asked, was anybody here a Jew? And then nobody raised their hands. And he was like, this is like the least diverse crowd I've ever seen. Like
it was all white people.
It was all, it was just all.
That's Indiana. That's Indiana for you. I love hearing a comic talk about like our state or our city, like, you know, after they visited or something, you know. So it's always interesting to hear what they say. But I've heard people talk, you know, good about Helium. So that's cool that they've got
What's the
It's
comedian?
funny
they got
because
something coming on.
when they go up on stage, behind the stage is a mural of the city, and I would say 9 times out of 10, the comedian looks at it and just uses it for
Oh, I
material
bet.
first 2-3 minutes.
Oh, really?
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and it's
And
like it's like an abstract where it's like they like painted up to the ceiling, but like they didn't like get to every edge, and so it's like kind of like
Artsy.
yeah, it's kind of like artsy, but like he was like when he walked out, he was like, "Oh, it's like the Special Olympics painting out here." Like I was like, "Oh man." I thought it was pretty good.
First joke of the night. I was like, all right.
Yeah, that's how you have to hit them, though.
Yeah.
That's such an interesting job, because like that's the thing, right? Like you got to push the limits. You got to take it too far. That's your job. But then again, it's like, how do you, like the other day in the office, we were making some Special Olympic jokes, speaking of, you know, and it's like, there's the side of me that wants to make the joke because it's funny, but then there's the side of me that really sympathizes, you know, for those, you know, for the parents or for the, you know, obviously the athletes and all that, you know, but that's what comedy is, though. It's taking a unfortunate situation, whether if it be 9/11 or if it be Will Smith slapping Chris Rock, and you crack a joke on it. You find an angle that someone else can't find on it, and you try to make people laugh, you know, and sometimes you strike out.
Well, I even saw like a TikTok this week of it was this lesbian couple that was sitting in the front of a comedy show. It wasn't as, you know, like crowded as like Helium was, but like
right.
She was standing up there arguing with the comedian because he had cracked a joke that was offensive to her, and
gotta go.
It was like 3 minutes of her like screaming at him, and then the comedian just walked off. He was like, "I'm not gonna do this."
Yeah,
like,
I can't do my job.
This is what they hired me to do, is to come in and tell jokes. Yes, it might be offensive.
Yeah,
get over it.
Yep.
Kind of sad though. Like, you can't
yeah.
tell jokes
Well, and that's the thing, man. You got to know what you're going to, you know.
True.
But I also think, you know, just like Mark Norman asking how many people in here are gay and nobody raises their hands, like that's probably a lot of crowds, you know, where it's like a few are going to get offended, but it's like it's such the minority. I'm not saying that their, you know, feelings don't matter, you know, but it's just like, hey, just sit back, let the joke go by. You probably didn't approve of it. You probably didn't like it, but move on. You know, you came here to hear offensive jokes, you know, like I just, you know, it's just common sense to me.
When you bought the ticket.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And don't have, especially if you're buying a ticket to watch somebody that you like, you know, it's like,
yeah.
But even if you don't buy it for somebody you like, I mean, a comedian's job is to point out and make fun of like things in our world that is going to be offensive to some people, no matter which way you cut it, right?
Yep.
Like if it's gay,
that's their job,
you know, or straight, or if it's white, Jewish, black, it's going to be offensive, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Yeah. I like the story he told where I think it was him. I think he's the one that told this. Was he got a gig to do a comedy show for a company, and the guy gave him basically a big document that basically had everybody's secrets. Like was like, here's everybody's secrets. Go out there and just roast them. And so he was like, I was out there and I was like, hey, you. So-and-so, it says here you're gay, but you're not out yet. And like his wife was there. And he was like, hey, so-and-so, I heard that you're banging, da-da-da. And his wife was there. And, and eventually he got pulled off. He was like, what are you talking about? This is what you told me to do. Like,
you told me to do this.
Who was it that did that? Do you know?
Mark.
Yeah.
Who?
That was Mark.
Mark Norman.
Norman.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, I
He got hired
I had
for,
heard
like,
that
by
story.
a company, and then
Yeah.
like one of the top guys gave him a list for like all the employees and said, "Here's all their secrets. Roast them." And he went out
I
and
mean,
roasted them like he does.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then everybody got offended.
That would be kind of nerve wracking, like where you're just walking. It's like walking into a party,
Uh-huh.
and you have to make everybody laugh. Like
Yep.
you're now the funny guy here, and then you got to perform. But I mean, there's part of me. Everyone talks about how hard it is, so I believe them.
Mhm.
But I also think that if you just had like 3 or 4 well written out stories that are just funny, and you're just a naturally funny person that can take a moment and make it funny, or whatever, make a one liner or whatever, then you can at least get people to laugh because that's why they're there.
Mhm.
It's one thing if you're just up there dancing and trying to be silly, and it's just not
Or
the
making fun
vibe.
of the crowd and like going person by person and asking questions. I would say I went and saw it was like an open mic night, and then there was a headliner. And this guy told a story when he ran a fraternity down in Bloomington.
Yeah.
His whole set was of him running a fraternity for Little 500, and they were putting on a concert with DMX.
Oh, wow.
And he just told the story of getting DMX there and the rider that DMX expected. So like all the stuff that he expected to have in his waiting room and the green room and what have you. And then like how late he was and the whole thing. He did a 40-minute set, and that was his story when he was the president of this fraternity. And it was phenomenal. It was hilarious because like he would break into like these DMX like stories and like.
And was it written well? Was it like, he probably he cut the fat. That's what they always talk about. You got to cut the fat. You got to get rid of. You come up with the story, you practice it, and then you get rid of the fat.
You live the story,
exactly.
It was hilarious. So yeah, there's multiple ways you can be a comedian, but like it's still a tough job.
Right.
And you be quick. You got to be quick with it, and your personality has to sell. So like those guys are special. But
I mean, like even listening to Tom Segura or Bert Kreischer, like that's the appeal, is getting to know them. So when they're up there and they're giving, like they're just talking about their life, like that's funny. Like that's, like instead of just making up some story to make me laugh, like I'd rather hear you talk about a situation that happened in your kitchen, and make it funny, get rid of the fat and make it funny and tie it all together. And that's what's cool when they do tell a story, or like sometimes I always think the specials end weird. It's just like like it's all right, guys, it's all I got, and it's just like you didn't tie anything together. But when they're able to tie it together, it's awesome. That's where Dave Chappelle is probably the best at that.
Well, I saw an interview with Bert Kreischer. He did an interview with somebody from Barstool, and they were like,
he's blowing up.
What?
Bert Kreischer's blowing up.
Oh,
he's huge.
He was talking to them, and they were like, they were asking him about drinking. He was like, I will do anything to be able to drink every day. He was like, to be able to see the sunset or the sunrise with a cocktail in my hand. It was like, I will run a mile so that I'm healthy enough to be able to do that. I will, I will make the sacrifice so that I'm able to drink a drink.
Or when a friend when a friend comes by and he's got a bottle of wine, and how exciting that is. I think I sent that to you guys. It was just funny to hear him take a simple question and was so passionate about how much a beverage means to him.
Because the guy was like, do you feel like you drink excessively or you drink a lot? He was like, no.
He's like, I just love it.
Yeah,
because I love it. Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. I'll never go a day in my life without a drink. Yeah, that's funny. They're nuts. Oh man. What else is going on in this world? There,
Well, I
know
mean,
we got
people shooting up subways.
yeah, I mentioned that earlier.
Oh, did you? Oh, sorry.
I know we got the NBA playoffs coming up, which
Yeah,
I guess I'm
watching a little bit
excited
of
for.
that.
I always like the playoffs, but
We got,
This
we got
playing
P
tournament's not terrible.
crying.
What?
what'd you say?
We got P Bev crying.
Oh my gosh,
Oh,
dude! They
gosh.
celebrate like they won the championship last night. It's just ridiculous, dude. They're gonna go get swept. It's like congratulations.
All
You're
right.
gonna go get swept by. Well, I mean, they're not gonna get swept by who's the 7 seed or the 2 seed.
Hey,
It's the Celtics.
They're in the West.
Memphis. I think it's Memphis. It's the
Memphis,
second seed in the West.
I mean, Memphis is gonna beat them in 5 games. John Morant's gonna wipe the floor.
I mean, they should, but I mean, they've got a decent squad, if they're all together, But I was gonna actually go ahead.
Just in that game, like it showed you, like, I mean, Cat being, like
He's not a very good
getting
defender.
4 fouls in the first half, fouling out, early in the fourth quarter on a dumbass foul, like just stupid, like. But like, if you don't watch, NBA a lot, like that was the first like exposure a lot of casual fans had to like Anthony Edwards, the number 1 pick in the draft.
Yeah, he's tough.
Electric.
He's tough. He was on my fantasy team. He's incredible. He's another
He's
fun.
incredible.
Like I was thinking about this today because like even I have kind of fallen off on watching the NBA for the last few months. And a lot of it's because it's like, okay, I kind of seen the first few months. I see who's good. I see who's bad. Just get me to the playoffs.
Yeah, right.
So I think there is at least 20 games I almost wish they would get rid of. And maybe this is a conversation in itself, but I almost wonder if like with everyone's attention span with how we want like a series, right? Like we don't want to wait week to week for a series. We want it now. Like I almost wonder if sports needs to find a method, especially baseball and basketball, where it feels like the seasons are just my wife jokes all the time. The NBA is year round. And I'm like, no, it's not.
NFL has figured it out. They own
They have
the offseason. They own because if the Colts were to trade for a wide receiver they would own all of sports right now. Like that would
just one move.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But I mean, I feel like the NBA, when there is a big trade made and stuff, it's news. Like they cover it. It's just the length. Like we're good, man. Like we're good. I already know who's gonna potentially almost win the championship. I just want to see them battle for it now. You know what I'm saying? Like
you only really need like 50, 60 games to really determine.
Exactly.
And I think even if you want this season spread out, cool, do like 50, 60 games, but lessen, how many games there are back to back. Like just do that, like spread the games out a little bit more. Like we could do the 50, 60 games, cool, but let's spread it out a little bit. Or heck, I mean, if you want the TV deal, just add a couple teams. Like there's more than enough players out there. If you want to throw in like two more teams, I just feel like there's, I think you're right. I mean, I think it would lessen injuries and it would keep fan attention a little bit.
Well, that and like these players like LeBron James or like other players who like they strategically sit out games because the season's so long. Yeah. And like, in all honesty, the
just kills the product.
70 to 75 games, not 82. You know what I mean? They need to trim back.
Honestly, if there's 50 games, people are going to find a way to sit out. I think, honestly,
in this,
all they care about is the playoffs.
Absolutely.
And all these teams are realizing it doesn't matter what I do with my players as long as I make it to the playoffs. Once I'm in the playoffs, then I can let them like I feel like Brooklyn, that's the perfect example. Just give me the playoffs.
Give me the playoffs.
Just give me the playoffs, and then we're really gonna try.
Yeah.
And that's basically what they're doing, and we're gonna find out. I think they're in trouble, but
But I feel like a team like Brooklyn, if you had a 50, 60 game season, they may not be in the playoffs.
True.
Like, because it was
that's
a
true.
rough year for them.
yeah.
If
And if there is,
different though, if they would have been healthy or Kyrie played right, they probably would make the playoffs. They'd probably be a better seed, right? Because I mean, they got more to play for with less games.
well,
that's what's so valuable with the NFL. There's 17 games, 18 now. But they're so important. Every game is so important. The Colts were half a game from being in the playoff, and they could have,
and anything can happen in the playoffs.
How many times have we seen a wild card team win the playoffs?
Absolutely.
Both times the Giants have won, but they were wild card. I think the Broncos won a couple times as the wild card.
Yep.
But the problem is though, we're talking like you can't do that with basketball. Like football is special in itself because literally every win matters, like because it's so short.
Right.
So unless you make basketball like a quarterly thing where like literally it's 25 games and then something happens and there's 20 and then there's a break and then there's 25 games and there's some and you have 4 tournaments and then in the end of the tournament you have a champion and it does last all year. It's literally just like the UFC never stops, right? So make basketball that way, but make it quarterly. Like the first 3 months, 6 months, and I don't know if that helps them at all, because does that really find you the best team?
An in-season tournament for next year where it's not the play-in tournament, but it's like in between, I want to say before the All-Star break or after the All-Star break, kind of like in that December to January lull where they're playing 4 nights. And I mean, it's the same thing with baseball.
I also almost wonder if they could do it like this is probably getting too crazy, but like almost like a value to where it's like every win is a certain value or is certain, to where it's like, so you don't, when you play the Pacers, you don't bench your best 2 players because you don't really care if you win or not, but like that win, like every win matters. You're a fool, no different than football. You're a fool to sit out your best player. You need this win, but when you're playing 2 or 3 times a week, you're just never going to have that.
Yeah.
Right.
And you can't, like if football was 2 games a week, one game, there's going to eventually, you're going to have some players sit out because they're just hurt or they're wore out or they're whatever,
It doesn't help that it just got boring this year. Did it not? Like, it just felt like it was just boring.
I felt like it was, yeah.
I mean, you got to have story. I always say this too. You got to have storylines, you got to have cool things happening. And that's in football. That's in baseball. I mean, baseball is a perfect example. Like the last time it was awesome is when Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa was doing the home run derby thing, basically, it's just because it gave you a reason to tune in. And I'm sure they've had some good storylines since then, but I don't know. I when I do watch, I'm amazed by the talent. I think it's incredible, and it just sucks that I don't know if it's really connecting with people, of how incredible these guys are now.
Do you think that 7-game playoff series are too much?
Yeah, I almost mentioned that earlier. I almost wonder if a best 2 out of 3 first round, right? I mean, make it tough, just like the NCAA tournament. You could have a great team who just has a bad couple games and gets beat.
Bracket it, just boom, one team elimination, go.
Ooh, that would be nice,
dude. Every team gets in. Every team gets in. If you're Orlando, you're playing.
Oh wow,
you're playing.
But think about but you got to think about I mean, it's 3 months. The playoffs are 3 months.
Yeah, that's why you just do one game. You just do one game. Boom.
Right,
you're out.
but
Boom, you're out.
but my point is, think about how many games they're missing out on money. Because in the end, that's what it comes down to. You know, you got to justify recouping the money.
Maybe. I mean, how much more money would you get on a tournament like that, dude? Like,
Yeah.
can you imagine how much money the NCAA makes off March Madness? Like, it's probably enormous.
Yeah.
I mean,
and it makes you want to fight for that number 1 seed even harder during
and
the season.
the stories in the tournament are just incredible.
Like the Peacocks, you can create that storyline if you have underdogs in there. Like even a 2 out of 3 series is like you're giving the lower seeds a better chance to win.
Yeah.
But I don't even mind that to capitalize on more games and more money.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like give me the Pacers versus the Bucks. But hey, who knows? Pacers could get hot and could beat them 2 games.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It very well could happen.
Yeah.
And that's the excitement of it. You know, that I'm going to tune in. Like, who knows? You know, so yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how the ratings are doing, or, you know, I'm assuming the NBA is still making a lot of money or whatever, but like I said, it's more of the attention span. Like it seems like Jared's kids are into basketball, but I don't know how much they're sitting down and watching it. Jared, does your kids actually sit down and watch basketball?
Yeah. I mean,
oh, really?
Obviously I have to initiate it, but like, okay. I mean, like today I had, I got into fantasy baseball this year. And so I was watching one of my players on the Dodgers Minnesota Twins game that started at like 1:15 in the afternoon. I flip it on. Clayton Kershaw's got a perfect game going through 7.
Oh, wow.
And then so like I got like a Twitter update that he was perfect through like 6 or 5 or something. And so I went and turned it on just to have it on in the background. And in the 7th, 3 of the Dodgers went back to back to back, 3 home runs in a row.
Oh, man.
Solo home runs in a row. And then my son walks in and he's like, "Oh, there's baseball on." And obviously I just got this new little Fire Stick with every game and every, you know. So
I love that thing.
So he's just sitting there just watching baseball because he played on a small baseball team. So he's like, "Oh, that's cool." And then he ended up hitting the Twins, and he was like, "Oh, that's so cool." But yeah, I mean, if I initiate it and I have a game on, yeah, he's all about it.
He'll watch it.
Yep.
Nice.
Richard, does your boy get into sports at all? I think we've talked. I don't think he really gets into it, does he?
Not really. I mean, he plays tennis. He likes tennis. But other than that, no, he's more of a builder. Makes
I got it. All right, he'll make more money that way. Hey, speaking of tennis, Kevin entered into the world of tennis with Olivia. What's up, bro? You having a hard time keeping track of the score?
Dude, it's better to watch it on TV, man. You know what's going on.
that's true.
Yeah.
So, have you figured out the scoring? Do you understand the scoring of tennis?
I understand the scoring. I just need to be notified when it scores, and it's like you're trying to figure out when do you cheer. It's just like it's quiet.
I don't think you really cheer. I think you just kind of applaud.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you can cheer after,
like throughout the match. You just kind of applaud when somebody makes a good play.
Yeah.
And I was saying on our thread, like I literally you texted that the morning after I watched King Richard with Will Smith, who was portraying Richard Williams, the dad of Serena and Venus, and it's hilarious because when he watches his girls play, I mean, at least the way it's depicted in the movie, rather that was real life, I don't know, but he's like pacing, you know, like he's hardly watching. He's just listening to the
sound of the racket,
and the balls, and
the
umpire, you know, calling the score and saying it's in or it's out. Like, that's what he did the whole time. And I mean, like, it was a really good movie. Like, I mean, you know,
I watched it a couple weeks ago.
Dad, do you think Will Smith should get his Academy Award or Oscar taken away? And I'm like, no. I was like,
No.
his performance in King Richard is here, and his performance at the Oscars slapping Chris Rock, if it's real, is here. They're separate events. One has nothing to do with the other.
Yeah.
So
He said, "Hey, Dad."
yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what I was about to say.
He said it's because of his actions that he should have that pulled. But they they
Hey, just have him watch Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and he'll change his opinion. It's all good, man. We all make mistakes. Did you see Ronaldo, whatever the soccer player is, Ronaldo?
What did
He hit I think he got injured and he was walking out of the game and there was a kid videoing him and he hit the kid's hand and his phone and broke his phone and apparently bruised his hand. And apparently the kid had autism just to make things work. Yeah, exactly.
I'm suing.
Kevin's like, I'm rich, biatch.
Oh.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, so of course they're taking action, but you could tell it was just like a frustrating moment for the player and he just kind of saw something and hit it, but I'm sure they'll make an example out of him.
I watch soccer, I have flashbacks.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, exactly.
Did you play, Kevin?
No.
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 It's like, no. That's way too much running.
Yeah.
Oh, I did. I know we kind of talked about this a few weeks ago, but I did finish Bad Vegan the other day.
How'd you like that?
I finally watched it. It was good, man. Kind of like with the Tinder swindle thing or whatever that one was called. It's just the same thing where it's just like, I don't know. I guess I sided with her. I thought that she was just being, manipulated and just met this guy and just fell along with this story. And, there's part of me that says like, how stupid can you be? But, but I also understand.
Older adult, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, in a sense, like, that's on you.
Right. Yeah. In the end, yes. But I also understand. I don't know. I guess I understand how people can get so caught up in just believing someone or wanting to help someone or, and you just
trying to accomplish a goal. Just like,
Richard, you guys watch it?
I watched the first episode and kind of rolled my eyes and didn't watch it anymore.
Like, it was almost like an unbelievable story. It's like,
I mean, you see where it's going, and it's just like, so this one grown adult fell for somebody else's just magical bullshit. But it's like at the same time, it's like we all also believe there's a magical man in the sky that made everything. So it's like, I don't know. Okay. You know what I mean?
Santa Claus.
We believe what we believe, and it's fine.
Yeah.
I think it just kind of shows how easily you can be manipulated. Like you convince a female that you guys are meant to be, it was meant for you guys to be together and all these things align. And, I'm from a wealthy family and, I'm waiting on this money and I just need this for this. And, you fall in love. And then next thing you know, it's just like, I'm on this ride that I didn't even sign up for. Like, and, now I want to fix this guy. Now I want to, or you get in a hole and now you got to get out of it. And it's just this whole like, oh my God, how did I end up here? And I'm not going to say it can happen to any of us, but you got to be smart and make the right decisions. But there's just so many con artists out there.
But you're right, Blake. Yeah. It could happen to any of us. Like Richard said, like depending on what we believe in and who we believe in, like we're all bound to kind of fall for, kind of who that is or what that might be, whether that's religion or rather that's a person or rather that's, some other entity, like we're all susceptible. We're all humans. We're all dumb.
Yeah. We all just believe whatever we're told.
Right.
You know, I mean, that's what it comes down to. You know,
Sure.
like I always say, it's like I always say, I believe what the last documentary I watched said. You know, it's like whoever made the better point. You know, I don't really watch documentaries about all that stuff, but you know, you get my point.
I got you.
Yeah. Oh, the sexy music.
Oh yeah.
Wrap it up. Richard's yawning. Jared's kids are screaming. Amy's about to yell at Kevin because he ain't home yet.
Hey.
Hey, I'm playing Mr. Dad over here.
All right. So we're gonna sign off now on our third
My son
birthday.
did a math bowl league last night. It was interesting.
Oh, math bowl. Like, so, Jared, this is our 3rd year anniversary, by the way. This episode.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Oh, I missed
Yeah,
that.
we big timing.
I've known you guys, well, other than Richard, I've known you guys a lot longer than 3 years. But
That's a fact. 23 years. Well,
Yeah.
22 years since high school, anyways.
Yep, 1996 is when we started high school. So
Man, dude, that's crazy.